Good morning, grade 11s. How are you? Today I will do the key to the last questions of page 105, and I will do page 106. Now, sometimes I make a small typo error. Normally, you guys catch me on that because there's 30 of you watching. Let me remind you once again. If you see me do something like write down -5 when I should have written +5 or something like that, you know that the math is doable. If it's something like that, don't get tripped up on it. Like, just, he meant to write +5. Okay? Because usually it's something silly, like if I'm bringing a -5 over the equal sign and I forget to change the sign or something like that. Okay, so let's get down to business. Here is page 105. Now, I left you with these set up. You can see that I erased them. But setup is minimum value, which means the parabola goes like that. This is a y value, this is an x value, and the origin is an xy, and since it's the origin, it's 0, 0. This is my vertex. So I have y equals a x -5, because +5, we reverse it, plus 8, and it goes through 0, 0. Oh, I remember, this is one of those typos. This should say a maximum value. So it goes like that, or it couldn't go through 0, 0 if the vertex was up here at 8. So it has to be this type of parabola. And then all we do is we fill it in. 0 equals a 0 -5 is -5 squared plus 8. 0 equals 25a plus 8. -8 equals 25a. So a equals -8/25. And we take that and we put it right there where it says a. And our final answer is y equals -8/25. X -5 squared plus 8. This one, there's my x, there's my y. An axis of symmetry, that is my vertex x value. My range is less than 4. So there's my graph. 4 is up here on the y-axis. All my y values are less than 4. So my parabola must go down and be less than 4. So it's that kind of parabola with a vertex at -8, 4. So then, again, I just write it out. Y equals a x plus 8 squared plus 4. There's my x and y. 1 equals 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 squared is 100. A plus 4. 100a equals -3. And a equals -3 over 100. Then I put that a back where I see an a. Y equals -3 100 x plus 8 squared plus 4. Answer. And lastly, y-intercept of -5, so that's 0, -5. Maximum value, so it's that. And my vertex is, -1, x equals -1, -3. So, again, y equals a x plus 1 squared minus 3. -5 equals a 0 plus 1 squared minus 3. 0 plus 1 is 1 squared is 1. So -5 equals a minus 3. Bring that over. -2 equals a. And I put that in where I see an a. Y equals -2 x plus 1 squared minus 3. Alrighty. Let us move it along to 106. Now, remember, we have seen vertex form. Y equals a x minus p squared plus q. This is vertex form. Now, here we have standard form. Now, we have been dealing with this form of trinomial since the 10th grade, haven't we? When we see this, up till now, we've factored. Then, when we added this y, when we saw this, we would either complete the square and if we complete the square, we know that takes us back to vertex form. Or we use the quadratic formula. Now the quadratic formula will give us the roots or the x-intercepts. So if I wanted to graph this, we could go old school way back in the day and make a table of values, but that's crazy talk. Excuse me. So if I wanted to graph this, that's one option, but I don't want to do that. We could find the roots, but roots would only give us these things. They don't give us the vertex. So the best thing to do with these is complete the square. All right, so let's do that. There's a equals 1. Remember, right? So let's sort this out. If I was going to complete the square there, I'd bring this over here. And I'd get y minus 4 equals x squared minus 6x. And then I remember I got to divide that by 2 and square it. Well, what's 6 divided by 2? 3. 3 squared is 9. So I added 9 to both sides. So now y plus 5 equals x minus 3 squared. And that looks awfully close to that, especially when I bring that q value back over here. So I end up with y equals x minus 3 squared plus 5. And then it's super easy to graph. 1, 2, 3, because x is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because y is 5. And since my a value is positive, I know it goes up. And since my a value is 1, I know I go that way, x, and I go that, ax squared. But since a is 1, super easy. Over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4, and I could graph it. Now let's look at this one. Ugh, barf. Why is this barfy? There's a 2 there. But, again, we can do completing the square. I like to get the 11 out of the way. Then I look at that right there and I say, oh, that factors. Y minus 11 equals 2 x squared plus 4x. Then divide by 2 square plus 4. Now I've added 4 there, but I remember 4 is doubled, so I'm really adding 8. Y minus 3 equals 2 x plus 2 squared. There's that other part of the vertex. Y equals 2 x plus 2 squared plus 3. And I can go to here, negative 1, 2, up 1, 2, 3. And since it's positive, I know it's going upwards. And since it's 2, if I go over 1, I go up 2. Over 1, up 2. And I get that. And again, I could label the points, but we're not going to talk about that right now. So now, I'd like to have a look at this and tell you some of the things that you know from here. So the first thing we know is if we're in standard form, we could get vertex form if we complete the square. And remember, it's super easy to complete the square. When b is even, this is super easy to complete the square, right? If b is even, you should complete the square every time. Sometimes, though, if b is odd, it's a pain. Tomorrow, well, Monday, because you're all going to do that joke right now. Tomorrow, Saturday. Monday's video will have a trick that lets you avoid completing the square. Which you would use when b is odd. So that trick is for when b is odd. Complete the square when b is even. The second thing we know is our a value helps. When a is greater than 0, it's that parabola. When a is less than 0, it's that parabola. The third thing we know is quadratic formula or factoring will get us the roots. So remember, if I have a parabola and it looks like this, those are the roots, and I'm going to highlight that in yellow. And then actually, and I haven't even said it, there's one last thing that this lovely form gives us. It automatically gives us a y-intercept. How, you ask? Well, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. The y-intercept is always 0, y. That is an x value, isn't it? So what would happen if I put that 0 right there? What's that worth? Well, a times 0 is 0. Okay, what if I put that there? Well, b times 0 is 0, leaving me with c. So we remember, if these are both 0, then y equals c. But that y would go right there. So the last thing this form gives us, c equals the y-intercept. And I'm going to highlight that. That is all you need to learn this week, ladies and gentlemen. You don't need to do anything more. Okay? Monday's video will do some of these questions. All right? So go have a weekend and try to make sure you're caught up on everything that needs to be done. Okay? Stay together, stay healthy, stay strong.